Hi, thank you for joining. My name is Sheryl and Noday, and I'm going to be bringing forth Syria family. Well, all right. Yes. Greetings. Indeed. We are Syria family, and we are very pleased to be here to share this body of time with you. As you know, we always say that you live in extraordinary times, but this time we say it with a little bit more potency. You live in extraordinary times. Now, some of you here don't fully believe us when we say that, because yes, it's been a little chaotic to say the least. Change is all around you. You feel as though that you are standing in a body of water. And you know to be true that you never really stand in the same body of water twice, for that water is like a river, it is like a current. It is life within itself. And so all around begins to change. But as you find your footing, as you find your balance, you will also find that as your feet sink deeply into the earth terrain, you are going to find new ways to stretch. New ways to stretch that bring your height to be that which you call to be your elders. You are all changing, friends. You are all growing, even if you try very hard not to. Even if you don't believe that we are a spiritual force speaking to you. Even if you do not believe that spirit even exists. You are changing. You are growing. And you're going to have to try very hard not to. Now, we know all of you on this call, all of you in this new dynamic called your online conferences, your online sharings, really is just the beginning in that way. You're going to find that as you stretch, having your feet firmly planted on the ground, and you sink down deep into the earth tundra, you rise to new heights that you had only dreamed of in the past. And so we don't call this time one of lockdown, nor do we call it one of sheltering either. We call it a time of hibernation. And in that way, a time of hibernation brings forth your imagination in acute detail. It brings forth the memory of how you dream a new world. Now, some of you already know this and you have been doing that, and you still wonder, well, why am I not seeing the manifestation of my fruits? I've been at this a very long time, and still this begins to happen. It was a collective decision that all would come together at the same time in the same way. So nothing is being done to you, for you are never a victim within your soul. You are always a creator. And in your own creatorship, you wanted change, dramatic change. You wanted to see a new world. And so you needed to stop the old, stop it in its tracks. And so when you are home, hibernating, we invite you to dream, not only in your night dreams. We've talked about it before. We remind you all the time to daydream. Yes, to look out the window and let your imagination become very colored as the light begins to caress the branches of the tree. You begin to dream. And perhaps this time it's with a little bit more detail oriented, for you bring all of your senses involved. So what does a new reality smell like? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does every cell in your beingness respond to in the new reality? And so as you create this new reality, and you're all in that slumbering state right now, we invite you to turn your news off. Don't be seduced by what you're hearing in the outside reality, because it is extremely fear-based and it is contagious. That we find a little bit more contagious than the virus itself, is the idea of a fear-based reality. If you need to know what's happening outside, then limit your time to what others are telling you. Spend your time, find your value in what is happening in the inner realms, your inner world. What is happening there? What are your connections to the unseen? What are your connections to different aspects of yourself? What are those aspects saying, and which aspect begins to come to the forefront? It's a phenomenal time of growth. And even if you say, I've done all of that work, we invite you to revisit it, to amplify it in a way, to bring a greater light to it. So as all of humanity comes together, a new sense of the human spirit has an opportunity to be born. And that light, that magic, that calling is what you're all placing as a collective in front of you, that becomes a value to you. That's what you will value, is the dignity of a human smile. And as you all are beginning to recognize the value in a human hug, the touch of being physical, will now have the opportunity to rise in your society. Not, excuse me, I bumped into you. Or not, excuse me, but you're getting into my space a little bit. But the value of touching each other, the value of looking into another human's eyes with eyes of compassion. And this is what is being built and rebuilt and strengthened within all of you. It is a beautiful time of reawakening. And you begin to ask, well, how long do I dream? How long do I hold this vision? And we say, as long as you can. And keep your inspiration, for you have not failed in your metaphysics. Oh yes, it might be a whisper of what a nightmare reality would look like, but you're here for a very short time. And understand, friends, that in the past, when you were here on planet Earth, when other societies came crashing down, there was no warning. And there were no signals of any new signs of life around. Your time of transformation is a lot more elegant, and we invite you to see it that way. That you're already seeing before you came to the epicenter. You were starting to ask yourself, what is the silver lining here? And you were all talking with each other, what is the silver lining? And as this light spoke to this light, that's a silver lining, and that's a silver lining, and there's another one over there, and you begin to build the momentum of a world that you're creating anew. Each and every one of your hearts is being amplified for all of humanity. You are all in this together, and it's beautiful. As we view you from outside of your planet, there's so much light here that's not coming because someone's giving it to you. It's coming from your own awakening, from your own beckoning to say we are not separated from the universe. We are no longer who we thought that we were. We are people of the earth, and we rise to meet our brothers and sisters within the universe. That is your message. That is what you are echoing out. And so we hear you, and many others do as well. We know that you have been challenged, walking from your living room to your bathroom and then to your kitchen and then recirculating it over and over again. But we invite you, when you do that, to ask yourself what you're thinking about when you do that. What are the thoughts that you're ready to let go of? Your body listens to everything that you say. That's how powerful that you are. Are you thinking about what you're going to be doing as soon as you're let out of your cage? Or are you like the mother bear who hibernates, who feeds herself well during the winter and hibernates, and she dreams she becomes a mother? And when springtime arrives, she leaves her den with her offspring. And so we ask you, when you prepare to leave your den, what will you carry with you? What will you have learned about yourself and in the world at large, in the world that you live in, that you're going to carry out into the world to birth it anew, to birth yourself anew, and to birth a new world? You are what you've been waiting for, no one else. You are what you've been waiting for. You see, for so many years, you look to someone else to bring the light to you. Or to look to someone else to create a certain kind of feeling, even if it was a connection to spirit. But now the echo to you, the response to you is that you're generating it on your own. You're generating a new light on your own. And it is a human light of togetherness, of community, as never before. You have much to look forward to. And so what will this light look like? The light will be emanating from you. Will you look different? Yes. Will you sound different? Yes. Will your friends still recognize you? Of course. But you will emanate from the self a new frequency of light that's never been here before. The human light. The channeling, the beings that come forth to speak through a being like this. We have been preparing you, others as well, talking to you, priming you, helping you polish yourself for years upon years upon years upon years for this time. Never once saying, look up to us. No, look up to yourself. Never once any other being coming through a channel requires that you look up to them. No, look up to yourself. And you're going to find that your spirituality, your interests in love, and your response to life, in being the creator that you are, is going to become heightened. And what would it look like when Earth and the peoples of the earth takes on a new position within the universe? Everything changes. The dynamics, the laws of manifestation, that which you would program and work on for years begins to happen instantaneously because the vibration is different. It wasn't given to you, you created it. You see, you wanted to design a program that you could be intimate with. If you were around other humans, yes, there wouldn't be that much, well, let's just say, intimacy with the energies at hand. The intimacy with yourself is one of the first alchemies of the magician. You've got to know how to be intimate with yourself to create reality. You've got to know who you are, what you're made of, how you could respond in chaos, how you could respond in the silence of reality. That's where you're at. You see, in times of the past, ancient Egypt, for example, and the times of what you call, we'll say what you call ancient Egypt, all right, just to be specific here. The practice of initiation, one would practice in isolation. You call it isolation. It was not called that in those times. A withdrawing from other peoples. Herbs were used. A great deal of silence for years upon years, so that you could begin to hear the subtle knowledge within yourself. And the greatest difficulty that those initiates had when they left the temple was integrating themselves back into society. It's not going to be that way for you this time. You're in an extraordinary initiation. But this time around, you want to do it with a lot more love, a tremendous amount of love. And so when you reintegrate into society again, you will see your fellow human beings as allies in and of yourself. So everything is right on track, all right? You haven't done anything wrong. You're not being punished by the earth. And if you feel that way, as we sense some of you, if you feel that way, that there's a hierarchy telling you what to do, if you feel that way, we're going to invite you to process that. What do we mean by process that? Well, what sort of archetypical figure do you have within your reality has been that way to you in the past, telling you what to do? Look at that. Spend an evening writing about it. Spend an evening looking at it from all the different angles. And then walk into this new light that is you. And disperse it. It can be that easy, where in the past, you would have to process things for years almost. But with the new light that you're creating, it can be, I see this, I'm looking at it, I'm integrating it, and I walk through the light. Responsible for my interaction that I'm processing. So we know that you're hearing a lot of information on your social networks, for example. We'll start with that one about how the earth feels. They would say that the earth loves you, all right? You're not being punished. The earth loves you. So much that she was very aware the day that you were born, as she will be the day that you choose to leave. That's a strong statement to make. Each of you have your own rhythm, you have your own signature, you have your own thumbprint, which is different. You know that, you've been told that. Here, let's stamp your finger here so we know that you're the only one in the world that has that. Well, it's the same with your energy. So the earth didn't want to do it by herself. And so she dreamed you. She dreamed people. living with her, growing with her. And so she loves you. She's not angry with you at all. We want to clear that one up. But if you feel guilty, let's talk about that for a minute. There are those that feel very guilty what humanity, quote unquote, has done, messing her up and polluting her. If you're one that would like to clean things up a little bit, then we would say, follow your inspiration. Absolutely do that. Do that. And does she appreciate it? Yes. Does she feel your sense of compassion? Yes. Yes. You see, your earth breathes. She has her own set of lungs, just like you do. You don't wake up in the morning, say, all right, start breathing. I'm awake now. No, you're breathing. And she is breathing as well. Why do you think you'll have your cycles? The earth is moving. She's not just constant. She's moving in vibration. And all of you have a symbiotic relationship with her. You're breathing in unison. And you're starting to feel that. You're starting to miss that, the texture of the beautiful tree. And the leaves and the branches on the tree, how they can sometimes protect you from the radiance and the strength of the sun. And as you walk past the tree, and the tree shares their leaves with you, know that the tree is talking to you. And so there's no separation, is what we are saying. And you're beginning to realize this in this time of hibernation. That not only you all connected, everything is. Everything has a consciousness. Nothing is angry at you. You see, if you change your furniture around, your furniture doesn't get angry with you that you change its position, although it does have a viable, strong energy to it. And so we invite you to lose these concepts that are self-abusive and blaming of self, and to start to recognize that everything does have a consciousness. And you're here on earth as a whole. And you're all going to be vibrating to a new beat, a new drum in that way. So we've been chatting quite a bit. How are you all doing?
Wonderful. So grateful to be here.
Very good. Yes, Leslie, it's wonderful to have you, Deepak. Yes, anyone else would like to share or chat or question? Let's keep it to the topic at hand, all right? So we'll take another evening for all of your personal questions.
Can you elaborate more on hibernation and and how to do it during this time?
All right, and is this Wendy?
Yeah, Amy.
Yes. Oh, all right. Yes, of course. Give us a moment here. Dear love, there really isn't any proper way of doing it. You must follow your own rhythm in that way. Follow what is absolutely coming from your heart, what you feel like doing in every single moment, or we feel really more appropriately what you feel like being. What is your resonance? Feel like being in the moment. You see, you're coming from, all of you are coming from a high active state of doing, where life, you respond to life, and you create life based on what you're doing. And even when you get on the phone with each other, you talk, you go, oh, how have you been doing? But now you're moving into a space, a feminine reality. And so it's all going to be different. So check in with yourself when you're in the time of hibernation. Well, I think I'm going to just sit here. I'm going to sit in a chair and check in with myself. I'm going to check in as to how I'm feeling. I was born during this extraordinary shift, no accident there, and I'm alive, and I'm an adult, and I'm doing my chosen work, by the way. And so you're in an exciting time, all of it. And in hibernation, recognize that. To go into the stillness, to think about the mama bear and how she dreamed herself a mother. To let yourself be caressed by the earth herself by using your sensings rather than going out and touching her. You can do that. But while you're in, allow your senses to be heightened by the imagination itself. Imagine what it would be like to smell the bark of a tree. What does fresh grass smell like? Or rather than the coffee brewing in the other room, what does earth smell like after a rich, fresh rain? And as your heightened senses, when you bring that into the world in which you begin to integrate, you're going to find it's a little bit different, a little bit more rich. And then when you look back on this time of hibernation, you say, you know, I sharpened my skills on dreaming. I understand it a little bit more. I feel it. I understand the feelings that are within me. That is not a thought process. It's emotion upon emotion upon emotion upon emotion upon emotion. So much feeling within my heart that my heart is what I'm truly dreaming from, not my head. Now, all of you have been shared before. You've all heard this before. And we love to remind you that the integration does take place within your heart. You might get those aha moments, those aha thoughts, those aha thinkings. Oh, yes, I understand it mentally. But until it becomes an integration of your heart, then you fully integrated it. The longest distance, friends, is not how far you travel. The longest distance is from your head to your heart. And in between, you meet to express. Does that help you, dear love?
So much. Thank you.
You are welcome. Absolutely. Anyone else have a sharing or a question or anything else? And after that, we'll move right into the meditation.
Yes, Syria family. Hello, this is Jason Cunningham.
Yes, dear love, Jason. Greetings and welcome.
I want to work with the goddess Mafdet and invoke Mafdet and bring that presence into my life and understand it and reinterpret it for the present day. How do you suggest I do that?
Well, very good, exciting, and this is a wonderful time to do that, as the energies are what, as we've been talking about, bringing an intimacy with yourself. And as you have the opportunity to be intimate with yourself and you begin to hone in on your deeper channeling skills, you know, the first part of the process is invitation. The first part of the process is invitation. And so begin to take that, Jason, in a whole new light for yourself, to rework it, to revamp it, to write it down, to throw that out and throw that in the trash, and then to rewrite it and to throw that out, and to really sculpt a new way of making a connection.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Absolutely. Delicious indeed. Anyone else want to talk about sharing, whatever that you want, about the times and about the topic at hand, please?
Yeah, for me, the word Lemurian just came up, and I thought, oh, yeah, is that a similar process to connection with? I've had insights and awareness around some guiding forces from the Lemurian times. I'm wondering if you could speak to any of that and how it could support me, or how I could call it in for more support.
All right, well, you're already doing that, as you know. And so the Lemurian times, what you can do is contact your Lemurian self. That is going to help you greatly. So instead of it being where it's something that you're connecting out there, let me connect to Lemurian time, simply remember yourself in Lemuria. And that will help you greatly. During this time, again, of the hibernation that we are speaking of. Now, in times of Lemuria, let us just say, you didn't have apparatuses like this, yes? You didn't have your computer, and you didn't really use the telephone all that much because your senses were that acute.
Right.
You see, all you would have to do was, well, let me think of this individual. Let me put them right here. And the individual will simply appear. Oh, yes, you called. I'm right here. And so begin to remember that part of yourself. And that is really why you asked the question, dear love, because that's really what's already coming up for you, you see. That's why your interests are there.
Thank you.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, all right. Well, thank you very much for that sharing. And we'll just be here a moment before we begin the meditation. Anyone else about your time right now? Let's keep it to the topic at hand, please, not making it too personal. We'll do another night for your personal questions.
I have a question. This is Steffi Ray.
Yes, hello.
Good to see you. What's been happening for me during this time is I've been meditating a lot, and my days are just, I get up if I feel like it and come downstairs when I feel like it. And so it's very unstructured, which is wonderful. I'm actually enjoying a lot of it.
Very good. Very good to recognize that.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, the structure versus unstructure, all right. What do I really feel like doing rather than the opposed 3 meals a day? Well, it's this time I should be having dinner, but I'm not hungry yet. All right. So you're
exactly, yeah. But what I started thinking about today is, gee, when this thing is all over and we go back out into the world, I might not feel like it. I'm really enjoying this part of it, of not having a time schedule and not having to, I do still see some clients, but not having to do my life like it was before.
Yes.
And I don't want to get lazy either.
Well, that won't happen, all right? You won't allow that to happen, but as you reintegrate, and this would be for everyone, but specifically for you, as you reintegrate, some of you are going to try to, well, all right, we're out, let's go back to the way things were, let's go back to the individual that I was, and it's simply not going to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you don't have to have any fear or, what's it going to be like? It's going to be the way you imagine it. It's going to be the way that you put out there. We can't say that enough. That's why we said in the beginning, stay away from your news. Stay in here. Wait, I'm getting a moment here to rewrite the script. So, Steffi, correct?
Yes.
You may not want to have that kind of structure.
Right.
When you reintegrate or resurface or re-show yourself to the world, you might not want to beat anyone else's time frame on expectations placed on you on when you're supposed to be there. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't be responsible if you're going to go visit someone and say, well, I'll just show up sometime in that day. No, you be responsible when you formulate a time to meet someone, but you're not going to find yourself specifically on that your schedule has to be so jam-packed to find the value in life.
That's what I'm feeling too, that there's been a huge shift in me
Yes.
from this.
All right. Steffi, we invite you to commune with the dolphins, all right?
Okay.
Find the space within you. Notice how we didn't say the time within you. Find the space, the doorway, which is the accent point to dolphin consciousness. So when you go within, you check in as to where the access point is. And that's going to bring a new dimension to you.
Thank you.
Let us also say, not one that's entirely new, by the way, one that's remembered. So you see, friends, it's very exciting. Now we realize that we're bringing concepts to you that you might have heard, or you might not have heard, or you might have even thought of on your own, and we say bravo. Bravo, to trust yourself. And when you do reemerge, as we've shared, we'll repeat, it's going to look a little bit different. Do not be frightened. You're not going to be without food, and you're not going to be without water. You're not going to be without anything that will not sustain you. And anything that is no longer there, you say bravo. It cannot stand in the new frequency. So do not be alarmed. Do not be afraid. Well, I had a job that I really liked, but they're not going to open any longer. I don't have that job that I really liked. Well, look at it a little bit deeper. Really, really, really feel it a little bit deeper. So the new light, in order to stand in the new light, it's going to have to match that frequency, not grow into it. It's going to have to match that frequency. That's what you're creating, all of you. That's the demand, we'll say. But a positive demand. That's the stature that you want in the world. So let's do a little dreaming, all right?
Yes.
All ready for that?
Yes.
Great.
Very good. So go ahead and close your eyes, please. You want to be sitting up, unless you enjoy meditating lying down. But if you are sitting up, you can have your feet firmly planted on the ground. And you can have your back straight so your spine becomes an antenna. And when you close your eyes, you relish in the intimacy, which is just you. You see, no one can be there. unless you invite them in. And so simply ask yourself that in this way, on this time, right now, I'm going to give myself an experience. I'm going to allow for the experience with my own intimacy. I'm going to allow for myself to be touched by this light. And so you begin to breathe. Pay attention to your breathing. You all have a unique way of breathing. And so just watch that. It's in, you take a deep breath. You exhale what is no longer needed. Your own rhythm. Your own rhythm. How beautiful is that? Your own unique rhythm. So you breathe in and you exhale whenever you're ready. And when you do breathe in, you're breathing in new light, new life, a new light. And you simply allow the body to release what is no longer needed. Finding your own rhythm. Specialness, the sacredness that is unique to you. Your own thumbprint. At one time, a small baby in the uterus, you began to grow. With each breath, in and out, you began to grow. You always had your own rhythm. And when you were growing, it was very similar to the hibernation you are in right now. You dreamed, you programmed, you felt what life would be like when you emerged, when you were born. And so feel that, each of you right now, yourself, starting as an egg, as a small seed. And as fingers, toes, arms began to form, you dreamed yourself. You all had this experience, and not very long ago. And so we invite you to remember it, to connect to yourself in the womb. You might feel as though that you are moving, and that there's water or fluid all around you, and that you are safe. You never had a fearful thought. You were safe. You looked to the future with excitement, knowing that one day you would be born, knowing that one day you would come out. Parallel it to where you are right now, in your homes, safe. Your body might begin to sway back and forth. You might even feel as though that your toes and your fingers are re-emerging. You might feel as though that your body is in a fetal position. Just feel it. Each of you feeling something different. Feel yourself in the beginning. The excitement for being born. Parallel it to being in your homes right now. Parallel it. What are the synchronicities? What can you learn from being in the womb that you can transfer and awaken yourself to your hibernation now? You're growing. You're growing. You begin to feel your spine begin to develop in the womb. Instead of your legs being together, you begin to feel that there's a separation. You not have one leg, you have two. You, as a fetus, were aware of this. You were not unconscious. And it was with great joy, great enthusiasm, that you saw yourself taking shape, new form. And you dreamed. And you dreamed. And you breathed. And you imagined. And so imagine yourself in the womb, growing. And get excited about being born. And when you walk out your front door, a new you will emerge. Find the similarities to being in the womb, to where you are now. Very good. Keep holding that energy. If you drift, it's all right. Just dream yourself back into the womb. Each of you was wanted. There was no accidents, even if you were told that it was. Each of you was wanted. Each of you was loved. Even if it was different than you expected, you were loved. And each of you is loved right now. So you're growing. You begin to feel that you might even have a little hair growing out of your head. But you feel some activity in your head. You wonder, what is going on? You didn't ask that question, by the way, but you felt. You were entirely feeling oriented. Entirely feeling oriented. You weren't thinking about what was going on. You were experiencing yourself. Just like you're experiencing yourself in hibernation. You're experiencing yourself in new ways. In a moment, it's going to get a little cozy in there because you've grown so much. Now all fingers, all toes are formed, all limbs are formed. And your head is bobbing around, moving around, swaying with the fluids, ever so gracefully. There's no pain. There's only joy and hope. There's no fear. Your skin begins to press on other skin, and you know that it's time. That you have outgrown your home, and it's time to be born. Rebirth yourself, friends. Navigate your way out. Do it differently this time. Navigate your way out. Perhaps you slide and you are captured by loving hands. Perhaps you are one that twists and turns. Each of you birthing yourself out into your life. And you are captured by hands of love. Hands of love touch you for the very first time. Those that are around are crying tears of joy that you have arrived. Parallel this to your life. You can do this simultaneously, parallel it. What you will find when you leave your home. Love. Love. Embracement. Joy for your awakening in each other. The joy of being human together. The rise of consciousness together. All right. And you remember that it's about love. Not what you do. It's about love. And so in this moment, give yourself love. Self-love. Not for what you do, but for who you are. Love yourself deeply. As if you would fall in love with another. Fall in love with you. You are what you've been waiting for, each of you. You are what you've been waiting for. And you've had a lifetime ready now to embrace. With your heart still opened. Love for yourself. You know that you have a higher self. The part of you which carries even more light. Make that connection now. Seek, call, respond to the greatest light that you can imagine. Yourself as your higher self. Let's take a deep breath, please. Every cell of your being is responding to your shift in consciousness. The opportunities are grand that you face. Oh, a few obstacles here and there. But with your strength, with your power, with your knowledge, you will see them with a gentle smile upon your face as merely something to walk around. You're beginning to realize that indeed you are physical. You're beginning to realize as you come back into the room, feeling those tippy toes that you once felt just a few moments ago, it feels like, that you watched grow. Feeling your fingers, your arms. Yes, you've had a full, complete life. And none of you are going anywhere. You're going to be here to experience the magic. And so we'll count to 5. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and it's 5. Go ahead and open your eyes slowly. As you adjust to the new light, as you adjust to your new light. Oh, what a magnificent life it is. And so as you fully come back into yourself, you might want to take your hands and rub them together and gently squeeze the body to bring the blood flow back into congruency. You might want to take your hands and gently squeeze your legs. Remembering it is the joy of being human, the joy of being an earth human in symbiotic relationship. And so we are going to conclude our evening rather soon here, leaving you all in this delicious energy that is you. We want to thank you for, as you would say, coming here and being with us in this body of time. It certainly has been an incredible evening sensing you all. It is our constitution to come to be with you, never to tell you what to do, but always to remind you of the power that you are therein. We see exciting futures for all of you. And we ask you that you open to those futures, deserving that they are yours, for you have dreamed them again during this time of hibernation. We thank you for your courage. We love you. And so we ask again, we'll take one more sharing before we fully conclude for tonight.
I just want to say thank you.
All right. And so again, with our Syria family, is there someone wanting to come through? All right, so we are Syria family. We are signing off. All right, we are going to detach from our channel, Sheryl, and we will bring her back into the room. And as we always say that we love you. We love you, we love you, we love you. And even when you've had enough, we have even more. Good evening to each of you and all of you.
Thank you, Sarah. Namaste.
Mm. Okay, I am going to turn the recording off. I can figure out how to do that.